Welcome back everyone. So now we want to look at how we can interact with HTML forms. The URL lib module that we have used so far is very well suited for requesting the content of a web page. But sometimes we might want to interact with the web page to access the different forms that are there. For example, we want to click on a button. The standard library available on Python does not provide a built-in mean for working with web pages interactively, but we do have several third-party packages available. So we're going to use something called Mechanicalsoup. So you can see the official documentation for Mechanicalsoup. Now Mechanicalsoup is what we call a headless browser. This means that it is a web browser which does not have a graphical user interface and it is only controlled programmatically. All right. So the first thing we want to do is to import Mechanicalsoup, and then the browser is equal to Mechanicalsoup dot browser, like this. Now remember, this is a headless browser. This means that there is a browser created, but I can't see it because there is no graphical interface. I can only control it programmatically. So we will use a different URL now. We will use a URL which is HTTP. Let me also show you how this looks. So this is how the page looks. We have a text saying, please log in to access Mount Olympus. We have the username and the password, and we have a submit button. If we inspect the page, we can see the title, we can see the background color, and we can see the center aligned text, which is login to access Mount Olympus. We can see the form name, which is, there's only one form with us right now. We have login, right? And then we have the action and then the method. The very first thing that we want to do is to create a page which is browser.get and URL. So we have essentially taken this particular page using our Mechanicalsoup browser, and we have created a variable called page here. So once this happens and we run page, what will happen is we will get a response code of 200. Now this is what we call the status code. Now a 200 is good. This means that the request was successful. And if you have an unsuccessful request, then you might get a status code of 404. So a successful one is 200 and an unsuccessful is 404. A 404 means that the request was unsuccessful. If there was a server error, then you will get 500. So this is good. The fact that we're getting a 200 means that everything is working properly. If you try to search for the type of page.soup, it tells you bs4.beautifulsoup, which means that Mechanicalsoup is using Beautiful Soup to parse the HTML from the request. And now we can view the HTML. So we will write page.soup, and as you can see, we get the entire page content like this. What is different here is the fact that we have a form here which wasn't there earlier. This is where we will enter the username and the password. Okay, so step one would be to select the browser, which is mechanicalsoup.browser. Our URL is the same URL that we have already written, which is this one. Then our login page is equal to browser.get URL, and the login HTML is equal to login page.soup. In step 2, we will access the form. So the form is login HTML dot select. We have the form, and then we are creating a value 0. Now what this means is that HTML.select is returning a list of all the form elements on the web page. Now since our page has only one form element, we can access the form by retrieving the element at the index number 0. This basically means that it is the first form on the page. After this, we will put 2 more lines which will help us select the username and the password and put in the correct value. So form.select, and our input with our value is equal to Zeus, and then we have the second input where the value would be Thunder Dude. And finally, we have step 3 where profiles underscore page is equal to browser dot submit form and login page dot URL. This means that we are creating a new page called profiles that will open when we submit these details. Right? So there are 2 arguments here, the form object and the URL of the login page. So let me run this. So meanwhile, let me also go and put this manually. So we will come here and write Zeus and Thunder Dude. And when we submit the correct username and the password, it takes us to a different page, and this would be the profiles page. These are the 3 profiles that we had used earlier in our course as well. So we'll just wait for it to open once. As you can see, we have a new page called olympus.realpython.org profiles, and we have the 3 profiles here. Excellent. So now that we have the profiles page variable set, which is profile underscore page, let's see how we can programmatically obtain the URL for each of the links. So as you can see, there are 3 links available here. So if we inspect this, you would see that we have these 3 links. href is the link that is there, these 3. So our links is equal to profiles page soup select, and then we have A The A, remember, is just the anchor element that we have, this one, where it says A href. Okay, let me complete this. It says profiles underscore page is not found. Um, why is that? Let me just check once. Oh, I'm sorry. I called it profile here. So there should be profiles underscore page and it should work now. Perfect. Now we can run a simple loop and we can say that for link in links, the address is equal to link href and our text is equal to link dot text, and then we want to print text and the address. Let me close the double quote as well. So we can see the three links are visible. So Aphrodite, Poseidon, and Dionysus. So the URL contained in each href attribute are relative URLs. Now you might say that this is not very helpful if you want to navigate to these pages because we don't have the complete URL here. So if we happen to know the entire URL, then we can assign the portion needed to construct a full URL. For example, we know that our base URL is equal to, so let me just write that here. We already know that our base URL is equal to http olympusrealpython.org, and then we want to combine our base URL along with the link. So this time you notice we get clickable links that appear. Wonderful. So in the next lecture, we will look at how we can interact with websites in real time.